Hey everybody, it's Katie from the Board Game Mechanics, and as promised, I'm going to do videos of my top 100 games of all time. I can't separate them really by like this year. I did a top 5 for this year, 2019, well last year. And really every year my list sort of fluctuates. There's some games that are on there because they're nostalgic and I love them. New games come in kind of depending on what I play, what I'm in the mood for during the year is what shows up on this list. So I'm gonna try to break these up into like maybe 10 to 15 game chunks so that you guys can see what my top 100 games are. And actually, spoiler alert, my top 10, 20 look very similar to my husband's. I can't help it. So let's get started, and I'll start with number 100. My number 100 game is called Thrash and Roll. This game, Jason and I picked up because we wanted a game that was rock and roll themed. We love music. Jason plays in a band. I love to sing, play bass. So this theme was right up our alley, and the game is actually really fun. You are rolling dice, thrash and roll, and you're really using them to go around to these different parts that will help you have a successful band. So you want to record a single so you can get on the radio charts. You want to actually get radio airplay so then you can then get several singles that'll go on an album. You want to get better instruments. You want to go on tour. You want to get good band members. So you're going around doing all those different things in Thrash and Roll. I don't want to say it's super thematic as far as the gameplay, but it is really fun to think about, hey, I'm in a band and I'm gonna try and chart my single, see if my single chart's higher than yours, and see where my album ends up in the ranking, and just a race to get the most points, have the most successful band. Surprisingly, there's a lot of strategy involved in this because you can only use certain numbers at certain places on the board, and so that requires you to figure out, okay, I have these numbers, where do I want to go? How am I going to really maximize my turn? And you need to have certain things in play so that you can even get an album together, which is going to help you be able to then go on tour. So a lot of things are contingent on one another, so it does require some planning out. So it's not a light game by any means, but it is really fun. So that's my number 100, Thrash and Roll. Number 99 is also dice, but very different. Number 99 is Order of the Gilded Compass. This is almost like, if it's very loosely themed, but it's kind of this archaeological type setting. You try to get experts and kind of do a set collection for experts in different fields. You're wanting to go out and collect certain relics. You're going to get books. Like, there's just lots of different things. It's basically dice placement. You roll the dice, you're placing them at these different segments, and there's kind of this, it's the modular board. So there are different places to go each game you play. So there's a little variety there. You notice on the back, like the places that you use dictate what kinds of dice that you actually put there. So that kind of changes the gameplay as well. Each player has a certain color dice. There are some places where you need pairs. And if I have more pairs on that place than you, then I get first pick there at the relic or whatever it is. So you're just going to these different buildings in order to score points. Very simple, actually a game that we sometimes play really as almost a gateway because a lot of people are really great at rolling dice. That Yahtzee kind of connection is there, and that like slightly background of an Indiana Jones type feel helps bring players in. So that is number 99, Order of the Gilded Compass. My number 98, another hit out of the park by Keymaster as far as I'm concerned, Campy Creatures. The artwork in this game alone is phenomenal, but it also is a really fun game to play. It's one of those games where you're trying to outthink your opponents. You have these different people, like you have these different creatures. So you've got the Blob, you've got the werewolf, you've got Dracula, these classic horror film kind of stars, which is great nostalgia. I love that. And then each person chooses one of those to play, and each of them has a special power that they do. So in a way, it's almost like Love Letter with monsters because you're trying to outthink your opponents, but no one's getting eliminated. And so you're trying to capture humans, and they'll give you different points as well. It's just a really fun kind of deducing, okay, what do you have left? If I play this, is that going to beat what you have? Okay, I want more humans, but I don't want too many. And just kind of that bluffing, like, oh yeah, I'm going to take this, but maybe you're not. Really fun game with great artwork. That's my number 98, Campy Creatures. My number 97 is a theme that I really enjoy. It's pirates, and it is Libertalia by Paolo Mori. This game is in some ways similar to Campy Creatures in that everyone starts out with the same hand of cards, and there's certain pirates that do certain actions. And then each round you play one, and you're trying to discover, okay, what is that person going to play? I want to go first because I want to take the best loot. Or maybe I want to make sure I activate this power while I've got these cards. Or I know they're going to play this, so I'm going to play this guy who trumps that guy. It is that kind of outthinking your opponents. You're just trying to do the pirate thing where you want to get the good booty that's coming out. There are ways to take out other people's pirates in their hand or in their actual crew once they get them out there. A fun, like really different kind of game. Like there aren't many other games like this. And again, it's that great thing where on every turn you're all playing. So things are always happening. So people always feel like it's going on. So that is my number 97, Libertalia. My number 96, huge game. Oh my goodness. It is none other than Marvel Legendary. I mentioned this actually in a podcast recently about being a gateway kind of deck builder. So Marvel Legendary is a deck builder, meaning that you start out with a hand of cards that are okay, and then you use those cards to then buy better cards or defeat cards to get more things so that you can have a better deck. I really like this because everyone has like a Marvel love. For me, it's X-Men. I grew up watching the TV show, the cartoon in the 90s, reading the comic books, had the trading cards, super nerd, loved it. Oh my gosh, Gambit and Rogue, that's like my first like experience of what a relationship could be like, which explains some weird misconceptions I had for a long time. But I love the Marvel Universe and I love deck builders. And since this combines them both, that's why I really enjoy this game. And there's that semi-cooperative part where we're working together. We're, trying to defeat, the big bad. We want to take out Galactus. We want to take out Magneto. And so you have that kind of feeling of, yeah, we're banding our heroes together. But it's also like, you know what? I want to save the day. I want to take care of some civilians. I want to, take out the Sentinels or whoever is coming after us. I want to do that to help myself as well. So that nice balance of semi-cooperative is like a great sweet spot for me. So number 96, Marvel Legendary. Speaking of gateway games, my number 95 is Bonanza. This game has been out for forever. I remember in college, one of my really good friends, John Schindler, would rave about this game, always talk about wanting to play Bonanza. I'm like, what are you talking about? A game about bean farming? What? And years later, I finally played it, and it is really fun. It's a fun game, a basic set collection, and really simple. You're drawing a certain number of cards, you're playing a certain number of cards, you're drawing some cards, you're deciding what to do with them. The best part is the game experience, where I've got these cards that I pull out, I have to do something with them. Can I put them in my field? Or does somebody else want them? Or can I convince someone else that they want them? Or if I take them, will someone else give me something better later? So that bargaining, that kind of bidding, auctioning type of mechanic is really fun, and it's just over silly beans, but it is really great. So that is my number 95, Bonanza. All right, my number 94 is actually a two-player game from Z-Man, well, at least my version is, called Acrotiri. I don't play a ton of two-player games, mostly because Jason and I will play kind of the big Euros just at two, and that makes them flow faster, but you still get that heavy game experience. But Acrotiri is super fun because it's unlike any other game I played. The goals that you have are to place certain types of buildings around certain areas that you have these little like pavilions that you've built. I mean, I'm sure that's not the technical name, but you're playing tiles out to kind of develop this system of sea and islands, and then you're going to actually put settlements on them and have different types of like, I guess, goods or like, different kinds of resources that you're going to have around the islands. And so you want to place your little kind of settlement in a particular area to meet your goal cards where the resources are being laid. So it's really thinky, but yet so simple. You're just placing tiles and placing resources. Like, it's not crazy hard, but the thought that goes into it is pretty extensive. And so it's really fun. And that's my number, let me look, number 94, Akrotiri. My number 93 is actually probably going to be an insult to some people who love the adult version of this game. But my number 93 is My Little Scythe. I have played Scythe. And for all the hype that it got, the one play, and admittedly, it was only one play, I didn't really like it. And I thought the artwork was ugly. Like, so ugly. I'm sorry. Not into it. I haven't played with any of the different expansions for it. I just one basic game and I was like, But My Little Scythe, it may be the absolutely adorable characters. And I realize I am so shallow to be swayed by that. But gosh, the artwork is so cute. And like the combat you don't mind because you're like having a little pie war and you're throwing pies at each other and you're collecting your little apples, and it definitely doesn't overstay its welcome. I'd love like maybe one extra round, and I think if we got this to the table more, I would just house rule that and do that. But it is a game that is cute but has all the great basic mechanics, and I think this could be a great gateway game if I started to use it like that. And I think I want to try to do that more this year because it needs love. And it also needs my minis painted. So if anyone is interested in painting these adorable figures for me, I would love you forever. So that's my number 93, My Little Scythe. All right, my number 92 is a game that admittedly is a party game. You can play this, I think it says 4 to 12 plus players. You can have a bunch of people around this game, and it's really fun. And it's called Concept. And I actually saw this played by Will Wheaton on tabletop once, and I thought that looks pretty fun. And so if you're a person that anytime you're up for taboo or something like that, and you have to describe a word and you can't find the words to do it, or you hate to play charades because you don't ever want to act anything out, Concept is the party game for you. The board has all these different concepts on it. Male, female, old, young, nature, fictional characters, colors, animals, invention, all these things laid out. And it gives you these colored pieces so that you can take whatever your clue is, work together with your teammates, and show people what the main concepts are in order to get them to figure out what your clue is. I've seen some concepts fail spectacularly. I've seen some that come across with like 2 clues. And the person that's giving the clues can only put the little colored pieces down and say yes. They cannot even say no. They can only say yes. So this usually spawns some arguments between people, lots of movement around of pieces, you repeatedly putting a color on some concept, trying to get people to understand that. It's a really cool party game. I like it. It seems overwhelming at first because you unfold this huge map and there's all these different kinds of concepts, and there's like a big key, a 2-page key, like a front and a back that everyone can have. There's like, I think 4 of them included. And so each picture of a concept has like maybe 3 or 4 concepts related to it. So at first, if you're not really familiar with them, it's a lot of looking at that. But once you get into it, start getting into people's minds, it's a blast. So that is my number 92, Concept. My number 91 has been talked about by Joel, by Jason. In fact, Joel talks a lot about playing this game with me because normally I would never want to play this kind of game because I hate area control. But there's something about this game and what it does when you play with people that makes it fun. And that is my number 91, Dogs of War. Jason won't complain about the miniatures, which are just, your player pieces. he will also complain about ladies with the pink hats. I always play ladies with the pink hats. I love that her hat is so huge, overshadows everyone else, because I want my presence to be felt on whatever side of this basic tug of war that's going on. And you're playing cards, you're making alliances, then breaking alliances, then trying to repatch alliances, trying to like outthink, use your player powers. It's basically tug of war with miniatures representing you. But it's somehow so crazy fun. So that's my number 91, Dogs of War. My number 90 is from a line of games that we really love. You can see them back here. I love games that are shaped like books because I love books. And this one is no exception. Salem 1692. Great game. Also basically a party game. And it functions very much like One Night Werewolf. So with more, but it's almost like a gamer's version of One Night Werewolf. Facade Games, they're great. And local boys to us, we love you guys, you're awesome. So Salem 1692, you have townspeople, you've all got your kind of personas, and some of those townspeople may not be as innocent as they appear to be. Some of them are witches. And so you're going around trying to figure out who the witches are. Meanwhile, the witches can pass around their witchiness to other townspeople. And at some point, that could cause them to win if they get rid of all the plain townspeople and the witches take over. It has that kind of back and forth. I'm accusing you. I always fall back on my like Scarlet Letter, like, I saw you dancing with the devil in the moonlight, or something dumb because I'm a huge literature nerd. But this game is a lot of fun with a big group of people. Everyone's accusing people. Who's being suspicious. You're passing cards around. Were they a witch? And then you've got these cards that you can play to kind of protect yourself, protect other people. There is kind of like, there's a night phase as well, much like Werewolf. But this has more of a gamer aspect to it than I think One Night Werewolf does. So that is my number 90, Salem 1692. All right, moving on to my number 89. My number 89 is Catan. Right now, I happen to only have a Star Trek Catan. There's a copy in the wild. Catan was one of the first kind of designer board games I ever played, much like everyone else. I had started with like Kill Dr. Lucky, and I played Bang in college. And then after I'd been married, my former roommate had the game Catan, and we got to play it for the first time and really, really enjoyed it. And even though I haven't played Catan in a long time, I honestly still would. I like it, especially obviously the Star Trek version we hung on to because we're super nerds, and who doesn't want to, think about moving your enterprise across the universe. But the simplicity of it, the basic mechanics that you can teach to people, it is a classic that I could never get rid of. So my number 89, Catan, or in this case, my Star Trek Catan. My number 88, kind of a little known game, but actually I think recently it was re-implemented in a game that Jason has done a review of that I cannot remember the name for the life of me. I should have done my research. Sorry about that. But the game I'm going to talk about is the older version, which is Institute of Magical Arts. This is another two-player only version, or only game, which I really don't play that much of these, but this one is basically if there was a battle between Snape and McGonagall to see who would become the next headmaster of Hogwarts if, all the events of Half-Blood Prince didn't happen. Sorry for all you canon folk. Just, if you've never read them before, where have you been? This is just that without the IP. So you've got these different, let me show you. Yes, a lot of it is card based. So you're trying to collect these different artifacts that are going to help you out, like a cloak, a stone, people to help you, conjurers, tarot cards, dragon's teeth, a master wand or an apprentice wand, you know, another sorcerer to help you. All these things, because you're actually putting these stones, which are these big flat discs, on these different portals, and you're trying to like guess what the other person's going to do, outthink them to try and get the control. I just put that in terribly. It's just, I always do these when Jason's not here so you can't see how badly I screw up the boxes. Oh, I did it. Okay. To try and see who can end up with the most control and therefore become the head of the Institute of Magical Arts. So it has that kind of magical Harry Potter feel. You're playing with these magical artifacts. You're trying to gain control. It's fun. Really pretty simple to play, but another one of those that it's deceptively simple. Like, yes, I'm putting discs here, I'm playing these cards, but how do I play them to like gain control of this away from the other player? How can I get more here than they have? There's a lot of really clever and thought out decisions that have to be made in this game. That's why it's ranked so high for me, which is number 88, Institute of Magical Arts. My number 87, a game that we came across at Origins, and Jason, I think, simply wanted it because it was weird looking, but it is a really cool game, and that is Imaginarium. Imaginarium is like this funky steampunk artwork. Some of them is a little creepy and grotesque looking. Your player pieces are these huge minis that are also this steampunk, like works of art, really. And you're going through and you're making machines and you're running them to get all these different resources in order to score points. It is one big crazy engine builder with weird artwork, but once you play it a few times, you start to really get it, and then it's a whole lot of fun. So that is my number 87, Imaginarium. Now, have to forgive me, the next few games I don't actually own. I know it's surprising, but I don't own my number 86 game, which is Architects of the West Kingdom. All the games in that line, fantastic. I love the artwork of Shem Phillips, just wonderful, cool stuff. I love the Viking theme, and Architects is really fun when you've got that, okay, I can send some other people, their pawns to jail. I might want to leave some of mine in there so that I can work on some other things. I might want to spring them all out at a certain time, so I've got this whole new pool of workers to use in these different places. Do I want to go and kind of do some shady things because that's really going to help me get ahead, but I don't want to have too bad of a reputation because then I can't go to some other places. A lot of fun stuff in that game, and again, just like all of the kind of, I don't know what that series of games is called, but like Raiders and, you know, Paladins. All wonderful games. And so my number 86 is Architects of the West Kingdom. My number 85, also don't own, simply because Jason wouldn't let me buy it. Terrible. But it is Century: A New World. We really enjoy Century Spice Road. It's on my shelf. It may occur later in my list. Gosh, I don't know. That's bad. But Century: New World came out at Origins last year. It takes a lot of what we loved about Century Spice Road and just implements it in a different way. So instead of kind of trading these resources and doing these things with cards, you've got these kind of worker placement spots, which I love worker placement. Also, you can do interesting things, flipping these tiles over, choosing what kind of benefits you want. And what I really love is the ability to combine it with the other games. And I think that makes it really great. And it takes what is normally a really great gateway game and elevates it to a gamer game. So hopefully someday we'll own that as part of our collection so that we can mix it up and I can tell you more about what it's like to play all those different dimensions together. But that is my number 85, Century: A New World. Okay, so that's my first 15 games of my top 100 list. So thank you for watching. Let me recap from 100 to 85. Number 100 was Thrash and Roll. 99, Order of the Golden Compass. 98, Campy Creatures. 97, Libertalia. 96, Legendary. 95, Bonanza. 94, Akrotiri. 93, My Little Scythe. 92, Concept. 91, Dogs of War. 90, Salem 1692. 89, Catan. 88, Institute of Magical Arts. 87, Imaginarium. 86, Architects of the West Kingdom. And finally, number 85, Century: A New World. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be coming back to you with another 15 games. So hopefully we can zip through this top 100 since we're now into 2020 and I should be playing new games. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribe. There should be some buttons down there. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and of course the podcast available wherever you listen to your podcasts. I'm Katie from the Boardgame Mechanics. Keep gaming. This is like an unusually fast video for me. Like I'm trying not to Katie explain all these games and take 12 hours.